Now is the time, a time you'll look back on, a time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time, this moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome, take over. The time is now.
Are you actually there, Daz? Are you frozen? Because this could be a really, really interesting review show that's just me by myself. I take it I am by myself then. Oh, well, that's great for the night anyway. But anyway, interesting to start the show. But thank you very much, everyone who's actually joined us in the chat tonight. There's quite a few of you watching live today. So what I'll do is I'll try and go through. Daz had all the show set up, so I'll have to go through it and see where everything is in the location. So I do apologise in advance, and seeing me in the big screen there by myself isn't a good sight either. So you better hurry up and get his ass back here anyway. So he's just texted me saying his powers died, so he's having to reboot everything now. So hopefully enjoy us as quickly as we can. But look, we'll go through what we've got on the system regards the game today. So let's have a look. Let's get everything up here now, because obviously I'm all out of sorts now because Daz was meant to be doing all this. So give us 2 seconds and I'll just try and find out where we are. So here we go. Newcastle team sheet was released at 2 o'clock today. Only changes in the game against Liverpool on Wednesday night was the 2 centre-back changing over to what we discussed. We thought what might happen last night on away days with Sean Botman coming back in for Lascelles and Dan Burn. Obviously, we talked about it and mentioned that there was a possibility that, could they rest someone like Joe Willock, who'd played the 3 games previously against Tranmere, Wolves and Liverpool, possibly give him a break. And also the same for something like Sean Longstaff. Obviously, there was rumours that Ansar Maxwell and Bruno Guimaraes were going to be... Oh, hello, Daz. You all right? I'm just going to do the team sheet, mate. So I'll just finish off what I'm saying and I'll get you back in, mate. So, yeah, as we said last night, there was touch and go regards to Bruno and Ansar Maximum potentially making the team, as obviously when the team sheet was, they weren't even on the bench, so they didn't really want to take a risk on that. So it was pretty much, the team that, to be fair, were really hard done to against Liverpool, conceding that 98th minute second goal for Liverpool. But Daz, obviously, I've just ran through the team there. Obviously, what we mentioned in the days, what we thought a possible change would be. What did you make of the starting lineup when it came up at 2 o'clock, mate?
Well, first of all, Richie, I apologise. As soon as I hit
It's all right, mate. I had to apologise to everybody because they got to see my huge fat mug filling the whole screen until I had to find everything on brand, because obviously I'm set up to do comments and everything, and I'm going through, right, where's he got all the pictures? I'm scrolling through and I think, oh, thank God I found the team sheet.
Yeah, as soon as I hit the intro to come on, the power blacked out. Everything had to reboot, so including my router. So fucking hell. Okay, and apologies. There's going to be a lot of this tonight.
You know what? I think your electric's as bad as VAR, mate. Do you know that?
Could be, and then Peter had some issues as well with his electrics right before, so people won't join us tonight. No idea where the other two are, but yeah, Richie, to answer your question, what did I make of the team sheet? Yeah, it was great to see Sharon Botman in. No Bruno or ASM. That's bad, but that would mean that they should be back next week against West Ham, and Byrne was on the bench, I guess. So he didn't put a foot wrong to deserve to be on the bench, but he played the other night. So it's give Shar and Botman a run out. So doesn't know the team sheet. Really, going with the best we have possible, I guess. And yeah, then we also had the Palace lads as well, and their team sheet, and I don't really care. I don't really care about them, and I know that there's going to be one topic tonight that we're going to focus on, but we might as well run through the match because it's yeah, everyone knows what we're going to talk about. Right, let me run you
Yeah.
through the match, and let's jump in at any point, Richie. You know the score at this stage.
Yeah, man.
So positive first half, positive in the first few minutes. Joe Linton with a good few nice interceptions. Was unlucky. Was unlucky with the ball through from J7 to I can't remember because I can't rewind on the stream, so I don't know who it was to. And the 8th minute was a penalty shout where Fraser stretched, but it was never a penalty. That was never a penalty. It would be our luck would be in if that was a penalty. Our luck wasn't in. 40 minutes card for Longstaff, where he stopped Eze, kind of professional foul. Isaac throwing goal on 15 minutes. Yeah, where he intercepted it on the halfway line, and everyone thought that was going in. But he went to a little dink over the keeper rather than try and place it to go either side. He was kind of straight on. The only thing when he was kind of straight on was do a chip it. And the Palace keeper, who had a great game actually. Did a great save there. What do you make of that one?
You look at the finish, right? It's one of those where you think he had too much time because he's pretty much ran from that halfway line, pretty much 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. And it's one of those where, as a striker, you hear it time and time again, where it's, have they got too much time to think about where they're going to put the ball? It's with strikers, a lot of it's like instinctive sometimes, and if you give them too much time, that's where it's that's where you start to see the finishing not being as clinical as they normally are. And if you think about it, obviously we've seen over a lot of the highlight reels, when we were linked to them, and then obviously when we purchased them, everyone was hitting the YouTube channels and the clips, and the amount of goals where he tries to literally dink it over the keeper. Obviously, he did it against Barcelona 2 weeks ago. So it's one of those where you look and you think it was probably harder to miss, but I think because he had so much time to think about it, he didn't just do it. You look at the day he put his foot through the ball. That was probably the ideal scenario, just to put his foot through the ball on either side of the keeper, and then you're looking at 1-0 and potentially a completely different story because then Palace have to come out and attack you. I thought Palace defended really, really well today. I've got to give them credit. Every time, especially in the first half, I didn't get a chance to watch the second half because unfortunately my stream died, but I listened to it. But when every time they seemed to defend, you seem to have about, I don't know, a dozen bodies between that 6-yard box and the penalty spot, and trying to get a ball through as a shot or a flick on from a cross or whatever. It was so hard. There were so many bodies, and it was like literally a pinball table in that 6-yard in that box, just pinging everywhere. It was just really hard to get the ball down and get some quality and get a clear strike on goal. It seemed to be like a lot of snatch chances and stuff. But regards to the Isak, well, I think I'd stick too much time on the time go towards the 1-on-1 and just not having that striker's instinct and just burying it.
Yeah, because it's kind of in the Liverpool game, everyone was talking about how cool and calm collectively was in that situation. Look, I think we'll see times in the future where he will bury that. Let's see how it goes next time out. Right, that's next 90 minutes. Clever corner. Fraser, I think, was to Trippier, and then J7 with the shot kind of into the side netting, I think, at that stage. 26 minutes, a save from Pope, point blank save. Both keepers had a brilliant day out, really. Yeah, so next up, 33 minutes, corner, a Longstaff header, and Joe Linton's shot. And it was another brilliant save on the line actually at this stage. But then Botman put it over the bar. I think it took a deflection, but yeah, deflection over the bar at that stage. 35 minutes. Miggy hit the post, but could have got a deflection. We were all over them at that stage. It was just we should have made something count. 37 minutes. Fraser half chance in the box. Botman had a on the 42 minutes. Botman had a volley, half volley, and then hit the side netting. Mickey was great at winning the ball back and then creating chances as well. That was really the first half that got us to half time, and it was 0-0. Then into the second half, and this is the big talk about. So we can leave on the copy for a while. So it's like for 50 minutes. Ball in from Trippier. Botman pulled it back. Willock was pushed by Mitchell, and when the ball went in off Mitchell on goal, and then it went to VAR. Now the commentary teams I was watching stream, I was saying was, this is definitely a goal. There's no, he's been pushed here. There's no way that this is not a goal, kind of thing. And everyone was surprised. I do have the clips as well. This video probably won't last long on YouTube, but we have the clips as well. But do you want to get your reaction to it first before we play any clips, Richie?
Well, first of all, I'm just before we both probably get into a bit of a rant here about VAR, okay? I think Simon's pretty much summed this up as the perfect understanding of VAR. VAR, very awful reviews, totally pointless technology with useless idiots operating it. Do you know what I think? That pretty much that's a polite way of summing it up, really, because I'm not being funny. The decisions that Newcastle have had against us already this season, not necessarily just VAR. I'm talking about refereeing decisions as a whole this season. I think we're probably at 6 or 7 clear, obvious errors that have either not gone to VAR, which were blatant decisions by the referee, or VAR, which have been blatantly obvious decisions not given. And in this occasion, the referee's given the goal. The linesman hasn't given a foul or anything either. And for some strange, fucking bizarre reason, Lee Mason's decided to say, look, go and have a look at the review. You need to have a look at it. But then when they've actually went and reviewed it, they haven't shown the clearest angle which shows you the push. Surely we can see that Willock clatters Gaeta. It's clear as day. But what isn't clear as day from the angles that's been shown to the referee, bear in mind, I thought he was poor, especially in the first half, little niggly things. And I think I don't know how many Premier League games he's refereed, this guy. It was his name, Salisbury or something like that. I don't think he'd be refereeing another Premier League game probably this month, because I thought his performance was appalling. He should have the guts to turn around and say, no, it's a good goal. Because at the end of the day, showing that correct angle, you can clearly see Mitchell pushes Willock in the back. If you look at the flight of the ball, the header across from Botman, it's literally going to drop right on Willock's head. You can see it. And then by the time it's come across, he's a full yard in front of it from that push. So he's obviously gone clattered straight at the guy, and the ball's hit Mitchell and gone in. The only two decisions, if they were going to go to VAR, would have been, one, was it a penalty for Newcastle for a foul, or because it went in, the penalty gets ruled out. It doesn't even become a consideration because a goal came against Crystal Palace because of their foul anyway.
Yep.
So you play the advantage. Yeah. It is clear as day. That is, and to be, I've got to bring up the West Ham one as well, because I've seen that one as well. It is.
As in Coutinho's one.
I haven't seen that. I'm on about I saw the West Ham one, which was, I believe it was the equaliser, and they got lately after the Chelsea gone 2-1 up, and the fact that they've gotten and given a decision for Bowen leaping over Mendy, and all that's happened is his trailing foot has tapped him on the chest, and Mendy's, it's as though someone's he's had a heart attack in the middle of the pitch. It's seriously, it's to rule a goal because a trailing leg, his toes tapped him in the chest. He hasn't even made, it's not a deliberate contact. He's made the effort to get out of the way, and it's literally a toe tap. Not even poking. He says it's literally his toes hits him like that in the chest and brushes him. It's a brushed contact. It's a fucking disgrace. It really, really is.
let's concentrate on the Newcastle one, Richie.
No. To be fair, it's
Yeah.
just that's a fucking disgrace as well, mate. It really
Yeah.
is. The fact that there's such a blatant, obvious error like that can be, it's the only way you can say it. It's the way it's been manipulated. So the Lee Mason has shown that, inexperienced Premier League referee. Bear in mind, this guy is making a decision that could have multi-million-pound connotations going forward to various teams. I don't think either Crystal Palace or Newcastle have been involved in relegation scrap this year, but there's been times before when teams have been relegated. We'll go back to, obviously it wasn't a VAR, it was a technology one with Hawkeye when Sheffield United scored against Aston Villa in the first game back after lockdown, and Hawkeye didn't give the goal. Sheffield United ended up going down, Villa stayed up. The correct results given, Sheffield United get the win in the game, Villa go down and Sheffield United stay up. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about
I know
huge decisions. And the fact that this is, class is meant to be the best league in the world, and you've got, seriously, it's like having Sunday League referees. That's the difference in the caliber. You've got the best league in the world, but referees who are like the equivalent of Sunday League footballers that are making decisions in these games.
You've got. I know it's all relevant what you're saying, but you've gone like in a massive tangent there, Richie.
I don't give a shit.
Way from what we're going to focus on, because I agree with what Simon's saying. That I don't have that problem with the technology. It's the donkeys operating the technology is the problem. But let's look at it. So from let's maybe just minimize the comment for a second. You probably want to see this in all the detail. So if we go from the front angle first, and then we'll go from the back. So this is what it was shown. Okay, so that's from the front angle, and it looks like the referee has looked at that angle. But if you look at the other angle, and you even hear Ian Dowie say it in the commentary that he needs to look from the other angle, and you can see the push. Now it's smaller videos, but you can see focus on kind of going from left to right, and I'll play it a few times if needs be.
On the head, and there it goes. Maybe a little push in the back. No, I don't. This might.
Play one more time. You see watch for the push on Willock.
On the head, and there it goes. There may be a little push in the back. No, I don't. This might.
So it's one of two things. It's either, as you said, Richie, it's either goal, an own goal and goal to us, 1-0 up for us, or it's a penalty. They're the two decisions. There's nothing else there that indicates that it should be anything else. So how is it not a goal?
I don't know. I seriously don't have a clue. As I've said, to be fair, if you look at it clearly, even the side, the views that he got, you can still see the curvature in Willock's body from where the push. Because normally, if you run in, your body stays straight. But you see his hip, obviously his hip, and his, you can see the curve in his body from where the push off Mitchell is. I'm seriously am. I'm fucking gobsmacked how they can rule that out. I really am. Even from that angle, obviously the other angle would, makes it even more clear. But he should still be able to give that as a decision. I'm sorry, but it's just clear as day.
Yeah, it is, and. Yeah, those videos won't be up for long. So anyone that's watching live will see them. Anyone watching on playback, we might have had to take them down again. But yeah, we'll move on. We might come back to that topic again, but we'll move on. Then on to 55 minutes. Ward got a yellow card, push from Fraser, professional foul. 58 minutes. Miggy half volley wide. 66 minutes. Fraser yellow, professional foul. Then Murphy and Anderson come on, and Miggy and Fraser come off. Then another save from Pope from Edward, another brilliant save from Pope actually. Then save from Willock, a ball through from Isaac. Willock should have done better, should have scored that as well. Target come off, Byrne come on at 79 minutes. There was and on the 88 minutes, it took 2 minutes actually for this to happen. There was a free kick for Trippier, but he put it into the wall. And then I think Wood come on for Isaac. My stream died in as well. So, but it was all done and dusted. So, yeah, the big talk point is the push on Willock, how that was deemed not a goal to us, or at least the very least a penalty, is bizarre. And you know what, Richard, you mentioned the number of decisions that has gone against us in the last little while. This has only been 6 games or something this season, and let's
Yeah.
look at them. Let's look at them all, because Martin put a good picture up. So if we look at the six decisions.
You got to start with the Brighton one first, haven't you? The Callum Wilson one.
I have to list them here. So the Wilson, the high foot versus Brighton, which he's not nowhere near his heads there. But you could, in isolation you could let one go. But when you have adding 6 of them up together, you kind of do start to question. I'm not trying to cause a conspiracy theory, but you do start to question things. Shar, the penalty potentially, I can't remember that against Man City. Just on Evo.
I can.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can. Right at the stroke of half time, it was. Ball came in, and to be fair, when you look at the image there of Stones all over Shah, right, there doesn't look much in it. It looks like he's just out jumped him. Really, when you actually see the video and it goes through, he comes in from Shah's left hand side, pretty much blindsided, but he actually leads with the elbow as he's going in as well on his head. The reason why I think it wasn't given, and it's obviously what's happened with the collision. Shah didn't go down holding his head. He went down holding his stomach, because as you can clearly see, he's been scissored by Stones as he's come in. So it's really knocked the wind out of him. So I don't know if that's one of the reasons why they didn't look at it, but clear as day, even when to look back at it, if he's leading in with that elbow, and it's the hard point of the elbow that's going in, it's not just like the side arm. We're looking at the actual point of the elbow that was going in when he jumped. That can cause a serious damage. We've seen how severe cuts can get on head injuries or facial injuries and stuff like that. It was careless by John Stones, and it should have been a penalty all day long.
Okay, that was the second one. Then we've got the pull on Longstaff's jersey there, clear and obvious there that should have been a penalty as well. There's no arguing with that. Then you had the 2 in the Liverpool game. You had the Ezek offside, which when you look at that picture, he was onside, and it was a brilliant goal, brilliant finish. We could have won that game. Never mind losing it if we'd gone the 2-0 up at that stage. Then the 97th minute for Liverpool. The 5 minutes extra time, and the 8 minutes that was played. How they found 3 more minutes in there, I don't know. Neither does Alan Shearer. Then you go to today's, and with the push on Willock and the own goal, but not even a penalty. So that's 6 decisions that have gone against us in as many games. So
I think one thing we've got to turn around, and I want to play devil's advocate here. We've got to remember as well, and we've got to say fair play to VAR, that when it's used correctly, it's a fantastic tool when implemented properly. You go back to the Man City game again. We had Miggy's equalising goal in the first half. That was ruled out offside originally. They obviously did VAR and it was given as a goal. Obviously correctly implemented, it was a goal. And then you also go up to the Keita and Trippier sending off as well. That was obviously overturned, and because the tackle wasn't as bad as Jared Gillett had thought it was. So it's good to see how it can actually be implemented correctly and in the right way. What a fantastic tool it is, for football. But the problem is, what we're saying with VAR is it isn't implemented correctly by the people doing it. There's plenty of people, who are in here in the chat have been saying some of the referees that weren't fit to referee when they were actually on the pitch, let alone when they go to do VAR now. So why are they implementing it now? The PGMOL over recent years have been an absolute disgrace. When Howard Webb takes over at the end of this year, at the end of the season, I think you'll probably see radical changes, because it's, we've all known what a poor referee Mike Riley was, and to have him as the head of, the elite referee in England, he's too much of a pushover, and you look at some of the stuff that it goes on and stuff like that, and look at the people who've been appointed to do VAR and as head of VAR and other stuff as well. It's one of those. Oh well, I'll give me mate a job. I'll give me mate. It doesn't matter whether you're one of the best in the field. I had a chat with a Liverpool fan. It was actually Martin's brother when we were watching Liverpool. We both agreed there's probably only 2 referees in the Premier League who are classed as elite, and that's Michael Oliver, who unfortunately Newcastle will never have because he's a Newcastle fan, and sometimes this one's actually debatable as well. Anthony Taylor, because the reason why I say debatable is because obviously it's very similar to the situation that we had with Mike Dean last year for the Liverpool game. How on earth you could appoint someone who lives 6 miles away from the team that they're refereeing, even though he says his allegiance is to Tranmere, but the rest of his family have got Liverpool season tickets? Is that not a conflict of interest there? Surely you're meant to have a referee who is of a neutral stance. So for me, if you're having someone, say Newcastle and Liverpool, you have someone from, I don't know, the Midlands, down south, Suffolk, wherever you want to go. You don't have someone who lives on the doorstep of one of the clubs. It's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So we've got 2 elite referees, and we can only ever have one of them. It just goes to say the poor standard, and the fact that we've got referees coming from overseas now to referee in England. As I mentioned, Jared Gillett, refereed our Leicester victory last season and refereed the Man City game. Does it really say how bad our referee is now? We're actually having important, potentially good referees from, nations which the standard of football isn't as good as the Premier League.
You said enough there, Richie. I'm not going to comment any further on that. So yeah, look at we got the final. We never final result 0-0. Here's the picture 0-0. But we're all. It's like a defeat really, but because we should have won it. Our goals should have stood, and at the very least, we should have got a penalty. Now the Palace keeper could have saved. He was flying today. But let's get into ratings, Richie. Right, we go one by one. We start off with Popey. For me, I'm giving Popey 8.5. Yeah, he was when he was called upon. He was unreal, and he had some. There was a handful of saves that he had to make, good saves as well. The Palace keeper probably outshone him on the day because he got even more saves than Popey. But Popey 8.5 for me.
I don't want to do 0.5. It's the full numbers on the house. I'll give him a 9 because just to back up on what you said there, some of the saves you made at critical moments were fantastic. I thought the extra thing that made me tip it towards a 9, I thought his distribution was fantastic today. Not necessarily his feet, with his hands. And I mean, you see, there's a couple of times we tried to get breaks down the left-hand side. The first one he got in the first half for Ryan Fraser, I think he got more distance on the throw than I've seen him kick out of his hands before. Yeah, that throw was absolutely immense. And how you can turn
quick as well. It's quick.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was. He literally had the ball in his hand for probably 2-3 seconds tops, and then by the time 5 seconds later, you've turned the possession of straight over. You've gone from one end of the pitch to the other straight away, and you've got Palace on the back foot straight away, and you've got Ryan Fraser up again. I think it was one of the centre halves. So which 9 times out of 10 he's probably going to win that battle against the centre half when it's about legs. Unfortunately, got put out for a throw, but it tilted the bounce from the one at our pitch, our box, and put the Palace straight back on the defensive again. It was fantastic.
Awesome. We'll move on to Trips. I'm giving Trips absolutely great delivery, especially in the first half, who were bombing the crosses in. Great deliveries in, and I think I said at halftime, if the deliveries like that were keeping up, you'd even consider bringing Wood on because he would have loved to get on some of those crosses. But it's not often I say think about bringing Wood on. So yeah, I'm giving Trips 7.5.
I'll give him an 8. I thought he looked solid today. You're right. He's crossing from set pieces was fantastic. Obviously, his free kicks, his direct free kicks probably weren't as good as his has been before. But to be fair, to score 3 out of 4 direct free kicks, it's hard to maintain that every single time you get a free kick in and around that sort of area. You are going to have attempts which aren't going to hit the wall, are going to go wide or whatever. but his delivery, we've said before on the channel, he's one of the best crossers of the ball that we've got, whether it be from a free kick, whether it be from a cross, whether it be from a corner. He automatically puts the defenders or the goalkeeper on the back foot because he puts it into the right area as well. You always beat the first man as well, you know what I mean? So it's going to get in the danger zone. How many times did we talk last season and the season before that we never ever used to beat the first man on corners or free kicks?
Yeah.
It was always so easy. So we know we've eradicated that now, and it's the same for, obviously we'll get to talk about Target as well. His delivery on the other side is just as nearly as good as Trippier's.
Well, let's jump to Target. So what are you giving Target?
I'll give him an 8 as well. I thought he was solid today. To be fair, I think every team's going to have chances, and this goes for, in every game that you have. But there wasn't many clear-cut chances. That there were more. Yes, there was the odd one, but that's going to happen in games. There was a lot more long shots, or it might have been where the defender got unlucky with a bounce of a ball, whatever that. I thought defensively we looked solid again, and that they deserved clean sheet, which it's something that as Newcastle fans, when we've had these periods of as a club where we've been experiencing exciting football, we've never been used to clean sheets as well. So it's nice to know that we've got a defensive solidity, and also to be fair, it seems to make a difference who we play in that thing. But Target today on the other flank just as good as Trippier today.
Yeah, I'm giving Target 7.5 as well. Yeah, he got in the blocks as well when he needs to. But yeah, solid. And I'm laughing at Tom Lynch's comments there. So Hairy Hands is sticking up for us Wednesday night, and good old boring Michael Owen is sticking up for us tonight. Great. Yeah, so let's move on. We go to the two centre halves. Char, I'm giving Char 7.5. He did the business, and you know what, I'm going to give Botman scores. I'll give him 7. All the back line I give 7.5 today. They didn't put a foot wrong. Just clean up when they need to. You kind of confident in them as well, and then when it gets past them, you have Pope, and you know before you were so nervous if it breaks the defense. But no, solid all round. 7.5 for both Char and Botman for me.
Well, for Shaw, I'm gonna give him a 7. The only reason why I'm giving him a 7, don't get me wrong, he had a good game, but it hasn't been as good as some of the the appearances he's had so far this season. I think the one thing that from actually when I was watching the game in the first half, obviously as I said, I didn't get to see the second half because my stream died, but just some of his distribution wasn't quite as up to scratch as he normally is, so that's why I just marked him down to a 7. Botman, I'll give him an 8 because he just defensively looks rock solid.
7.5, Richie. 7.5. If you don't do 0.5, give him
I think because I'm going back on what I saw in the first half, but obviously the highlights I've seen as well. He looks rock solid. You know, I'm talking about even little things like when he's playing the ball out, he's trying to break the lines and getting the ball forward either to into the midfield or even further than that up the pitch as well. And to be fair, he was really unlucky not to get a goal today. The amount of times he's actually getting on the end of balls that are coming, whether he's drifting around the back post or, the one where off the Sean Longstaff header that then got cleared off the line, and he was unlucky. You can even see by the effort he's trying to lift it over the defender that was sliding. It literally just clipped his leg and went over. So we don't know whether it would have went or not, but it seems to be one of those where I can see a Botman goal coming in the weeks to come.
Yeah, that's I'm offensive football team. But that was a great tackle from the block from the Crystal Palace defender that just to stop that as well, to tell you the truth. All right, we'll move on. We'll move to midfield. Sean Longstaff. The header really stood out. That was a great header. I'm giving him total. I'm giving him 7.
Yeah, I probably would the same as well. I think it was just. And I was listening to the radio and I had to go out straight after the match, and John Anderson on Newcastle said that they seemed a bit leggy today in the middle, and I think it's not surprising. You've got to remember that they've had 3 hard away games, and the one on Wednesday night to go that deep into over normal time, and to you play one of the best teams in the world, and you're going to be constantly running. You're not going to have the ball as much. You're going to be knackered, and unfortunately, I think if Bruno had been 100%, you would have seen him and then it would have been rested. But so all you can do is you can praise them for what they've done. and unfortunately, we just haven't got that quality in depth as a squad as yet. I think in a year's time we'll probably see that squad depth. We'll not be in this situation as much anymore if we have these, few niggly injuries to people, first team members that we rely on. But these lads are working their socks off, and that's one thing we can't fault any of the team nowadays. The working rock solid, whether they're knackered or not, and it's a workmanlike display. That's why I have to give it a 7.
Yeah, no. Agree with you on that one, Richie. Next up is Joe Linton. Again, a beast, winning the ball back. And 8 for me.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I thought he was non-stop with that workhorse. The amount of times he won the ball back and nicked it back off Palace, and even some of them were like silly. The referee gave silly little fouls, and there was nothing even there. Really, really harsh. Like there was one way he went shoulder to shoulder with someone, and the referee gave a foul, and it was like, can you not go shoulder to shoulder with someone now? It was a bit soft, but I don't know if it was given because we know how strong Joe Linton is as a player, full stop. And sometimes when you go in with people like that, other people are going to make it look a fool if they're not going in the same direction. They might end up, 2-3 yards the opposite direction of where Joe Linton's been. But no, I think he looked really solid again, and he just seems to really, really suit that midfield role. You still can't, I think you've got to take it and think, you can't believe this. That's not his natural position. This is an adopted position that has now become his best position. He's a midfielder for me now. He isn't a striker or a false 9 or whatever you want to say. No. He's a midfielder. He's a all no holds barred midfielder now.
No, yeah, he's born to play that role, and even still, when he gets close to the box, his feet go to jelly. I think the defenders get too close on him then, and it doesn't. He's carried it so far at that stage. It just doesn't happen. But yeah, no, I'm happy. Keep him doing what he's doing. Week in, week out, happy with that. Next up is Willock. Willock, you can see that he's still building that partnership with Isaac. And yet he had a few chances today, but before this he wouldn't get anywhere near these chances. So to me, that's kind of an improvement. As I said the other day, I thought he played really well against Liverpool. He should have probably buried one that Isaac put in front of him. But total, I'm giving him 7.5.
No, I'm giving him 8 because at the end of the day, he was unlucky not to have a goal. Really, realistically, do you know what I mean? He would have probably headed that in if it wasn't for the foul. Do you know what I mean? It looked like he was nodding it right past the keeper. So, but he's, as I said, we'll go back to what I said about Longstaff. That lad's, I think he played every single game this season. He needs to rest because. Do you know? He played the cup game at Tranmere. He was the only one that wasn't rested. There was 10 changes. I mean, he was the one that had to stay because they couldn't pretty much change the whole team. You've got to remember that lad's had some miles in his legs already this season in the 6 league games and the cup game, and to deliver that performance when you've done all that already, hats off. You know what I mean? He was unfortunate to get the goal. I think he deserved an 8, mate.
That's fair enough, and like that's one of the reasons as well. We're kind of calling for someone to come in his position, even if it was on loan. He could be the one that comes from the bench, and he'd be some player to come off the bench because that's where he did the damage before for us when he at his loan spell for us. But anyway, we'll move on. That's Willock. Miggy, buzzing around again, winning the ball back, creating chances, hitting the post at one stage. For me, he came off early. He came off on the 69th minute. He did not want to come off either. But he was probably. I think he could have lasted another while. I wouldn't have taken him off. I think it was the same as in the Liverpool game. I wouldn't have taken him off. But I'm giving him an 8.5 for what he did on the pitch for those 69 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. I can't fault him as well. The effort's always there. There was some of the tracking back he did today and winning the ball back as well. It was just phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? And everyone, he says he does a lot of run around, and I think that seems to be the thought by a lot of other Premier League fans and teams that he does a lot of run around, but there's not much end product. Yes, there might not be some end product, as in he's either creating an assist or he's scoring a goal. But for me, create end product also comes back if you're tracking back and tackling, winning the ball back, which he does. without question. We all love Alan Saint-Maximin, but we know he's sometimes a bit lax on the defensive side of things when obviously we haven't got the ball. You can't say that about Almiron. You can perhaps say his weakness, obviously, the fact he hasn't got a right foot. And, prove it a couple of times in the first half where he was crossing with the outside of his left foot from the right-hand side, when he was just trying to hit them on the break and stuff like that. And but no, he was unlucky not to get a goal. Slight deflection, took it onto the post as well. We discussed it last night with T on away days. Almiron seems to like Crystal Palace. Scored his first ever Premier League goal against them. Obviously scored the fantastic winner last year and nearly broke the deadlock today in the first half as well. So yeah, plenty. I agree, Daz. I think he probably could have given him at least another 10 minutes if he was planning to change it, because if you've got Alan Saint-Maximin and you've got Miggy on, at least if you want to bring one of them off, you've got Fraser to bring on. When you've got one of them out of the team injured and you've got Fraser starting, yes, you've got Elliott who can come on, who's not really a right side player or left. He's probably better centrally, in creative in the middle sort of thing. So then you have to bring on Jacob Murphy, and it's getting to the stage now where it's clear as day that Jacob Murphy and Wood need to be moved on ASAP, because to be fair, I still don't understand why Eddie Howe persists on bringing Murphy on, because he offers nothing when he comes onto the pitch.
Exactly. Let's move on. Let's go to Fraser. For me, Fraser, I'm giving him a 7.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. I think he was had a pretty decent game. He was trying to get the ball into the box and stuff like that. He was getting the better of Joel Ward on that down the left hand side for Newcastle as well. And obviously they had to make some changes at the back and stuff like that. And then they brought on Nathaniel Klein, and they changed things around a little bit because they were having a lot of luck down that side as well. He seems to have a good relationship with Target as well. Obviously, he's not to the same caliber as Alan Saint-Maximin. He doesn't always have that mercurial threat that he does, but do you know what? He's still a fantastic player. I've said this for a while. He's a fantastic backup for Miggy and for Maxi. And do you know what? He still delivers. He works his socks off. He tracks back. He does the defensive side of stuff that Maxi doesn't do. Just sometimes the end product's not lacking. But yeah, 7. I thought it was decent enough performance.
Decent performance from him. Looking forward to get ASM back though. Last up is Isaac on his home debut. If you remember back, the one-on-one situation, some nice passing as well, some through balls to Willock. Total, I'm going to give him 7.
Do you know what? I was tempted to go with the 8, but I agree with probably the 7. We've obviously the one-on-one. It was great. Pressing from him to actually create the chance for himself. He blocked the clearance from Anderson, and I think, as we discussed at the start of the show, I think it literally came down to the fact that he had so much time to think about what he was going to do with the ball, and that's what he sort of like got the ball in the wrong position off his final touch. It was more like centrally wasn't either side of him, so he could maybe be easy to place it. So that's probably why he went for the chip. So he had a couple of other good little efforts and stuff like that, made the keeper work. Just obviously unfortunately not having enough power to get past the keeper with a good game. But yeah, he's starting to get good link-up play, playing the ball that way, linking up play. Seems to, as we've mentioned before as well, he seems to be building up a good relationship on and off the pitch with Joe Willock as well, and an understanding there. I don't know if they've been doing a lot of work after training as well, but don't worry. It's the goal would have been perfect on his home debut, but he's already off the mark for Newcastle against one of the best teams in world football, as we've said. So it'll come. Do you know what I mean? I'm no doubt he's going to be a fantastic success at Newcastle. Unfortunately, it just wasn't to be today. Unfortunately,
I agree with you. He's going to be class for us, and it'll be interesting when we have Bruno back, ASM back, and Wilson back as well, and whether we. I
do think today highlighted how much we missed Bruno in that middle. We missed that little creative spark of someone who can see a pass. Do you know what I mean? It's little things. Do you know what I mean? The way you read the game as well.
The defense, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if if Bruno had been back today, I still, to be fair, we should have won the game anyway. However, I think we could have won. It could be a bit more comfortable if Bruno would be on the pitch today.
That on the Wolves game, if we had Bruno for that as well, and the work permit had come through for Bizek, I think we would have won the Wolves game. And today, if we had Bruno in the same, but look, it's always going to be a case of someone's going to be missing. But it would be nice to see everyone fully fit, and then how it goes, and even if it's drop either Wilson or Isaac, and then bring one of them on 60 minutes, boy. That'll be interesting. A fresh pair of legs coming off of that quality coming off the bench. Yeah, they're the dreams. Hopefully we get to see them. That was it for the ratings. Then I know Anderson came on as well and had a good game. He also comes on, and people are asking. I see them asking in the chat: is it time for Eddie to give Anderson a run on from the start? Maybe it is. I'd give him a start ahead of Fraser, to tell you the truth. If ASM isn't ready the next day, but we are playing West Ham, so it's going to be a difficult game, that one.
Thing is, though, do you know what, Daz? I would even have been inclined to say he could have been perfect to be that creative aspect in the middle of the park today. You know, you could have rested Willock, and then you could have obviously just said to Sean Longstaff, if you sit back a bit further for a change and let Anderson just try and be in and around causing havoc. And we said today, the amount of people that I've seen in the chat and from the highlights I've seen, as soon as he came on, he was looking to make something happen. He was taking the game to the Palace defense. The Palace defense was scared of him when he had the ball. The amount of times he was fouled and stuff like that. And he's going to be some player when he gets to the experience behind him. And I think Eddie Howe's made the right decision to keep him in and around this squad, like Pep Guardiola did with Foden. If he's trading with the quality players that's going to be in and around the Newcastle squad nowadays, it's going to develop them more than possibly playing at a League One side, and playing more time, because the speed, the quality you're playing against and stuff like that, you can't replicate in League One, unfortunately.
Right. That is it for any questions. I'm kind of looking. I see there's one new member, Richie.
Yeah, he's there was obviously, we had one last night who joined as well, but obviously much appreciate everyone who joins the channel. We always appreciate the support, obviously, and I know he's been in the chat. Is it would I don't know. I'm just saying.
Would I at there? Are you there? Would I? There's
so many words you can say when you look at these names. There's wood, there's die, there's leather, there's there.
Countdown quiz.
Yeah.
But yep, cool. Well, welcome anyway. That's the main thing. Thanks for becoming a member. Anything else, Richie, from the chat?
Let's have a look. What other stuff start?
I know it's.
Yeah, Kamal reckons that you should be for VAR, Daz.
I could do it. No problem. I could do it.
John Askew's just basically said about what obviously we were mentioning there. Anderson played about 25 minutes, probably our best player. She has technically been running the team. So obviously there's a lot of thoughts there on that one as well. So obviously a lot of the talk that you see in the chat today is literally about one standout moment in the game, which, to be fair, we've talked quite a lot about it already, and I'm sure it's going to get talked about over the next coming days.
Let's play the both videos again, because look at it, we're going to have to take them down anyway, I imagine. So here's the first one again. Here's from the front angle. Here we go. Other angle. Here it is again from the behind.
On the head, and there it goes. Oh, there may be a little push in the back. No, I don't. This might.
No, maybe about it. There was a push in the back. As we
Do you know what? I've just looked at it again, right? Do you know the way he clatters into the keeper, Willock, right? The only other time you ever see moves like that is when you're watching WWE, when someone's rebounded off the ropes and they've tried to give them a side splash. That's what it looked like. You can just nobody would try and go for a header like that. I'm sorry. So you can tell it's just an unnatural movement. It's clear as day he was pushed. Obviously, we can all see it for some reason. VAR and the referee couldn't.
Has anyone heard what the decision was from the like? What was the reason he ruled
No
the
one
goal
was,
out?
no, and we probably won't, and that's the problem. And that's what other
He
things. A
did
lot of
talk to
things.
Trippier, didn't he?
Well, he's obviously
He did.
told Trippier. I think the only way we'll find out what was said is if we actually have an interview with Trippier. Like that's probably the only way we're actually going to find out, really, because. And this is one thing that we've said before. People in chat have said before. You see it on social media. The problem is, and when we had Keith Hackett on back in December, when we had all those VAR decisions go against us just before Christmas, and he said the problem is these people aren't accountable for their errors. If say for example, Eddie Howe makes bad decisions. Whether he likes it or not, he's got media duty to do afterwards, whether it be to the TV, whether it be a press conference. He has to stand by his decisions and has to say whatever. There's it's okay that a referee could turn around and walk into a thing afterwards and go, this is why I've done whatever, but that makes no difference. We've said for a while, and Keith Hackett said this, the problem is there's no accountability from the referees who are making these multi-million pound decisions. They need to go back to the rugby union, what they do. They're mic'd up. Yeah. You can see the replays at the same time. You're not just put on the thing, checking for a possible foul or whatever. You actually see so everybody can see what's going on. And to have the referees mic'd up, talking through the decision process to how they can come to a decision. And then obviously, if they make a mistake, even after then, they're accountable for it. At the moment, there's so much that they can hide behind. And that's the problem.
Here's a word for you, Richie. Transparency.
I don't think Newcastle fans know what that means, mate.
Right. I think we'll end on a happy note. We'll just want to give a shout out to the sponsors first. Shout out to shybarnes.com. And the range, there's that picture. There it is. It's just delayed coming on screen. And the range that Simon has available in hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and also the loaded range where you have the loaded t-shirt in a variety of different colors. And you also have the away days t-shirt in a variety of different colors as well. So we just picked a few here. So check those out. And also the water bottles and mugs as well. Also shout out to Pins and Prints and Dean and the range he has available there. And also shout out to Machine House and the range that Marty has available in t-shirts and hoodies. So that's the shout out to the sponsors. And also the happy note I was going to say is Sam Fender was in the crowd as well today. Was he on the pitch at halftime? I know there's a concert coming up on the 9th of June.
No, the lad with the blue hat behind him with the bucket hat on, he actually got his saxophone out and did Local Hero at halftime.
Oh, brilliant.
So I was a bit good. I wasn't there in the crowd. I love Sam Fender. And I think they're fantastic. And, I'll hopefully try and apply to get tickets if obviously the demand's going to be horrendous. I can imagine when they go on sale next week. But yeah, to hear that saxophone go around in St James's Park, you see the clips of when the day the takeover went through. You've seen since the tweet was released on yesterday about the announcement of the concert and them walking in. The acoustics have played it live in an empty St James's Park. What's it going to be like playing in a full house St James's Park next year? And remember, it's on the 9th of June.
Exactly. Nice little marketing promo there. So that's it. But we'll be back during the week. Obviously, the fully loaded transfer shows are gone. They're gone until January. So we'll be back to our regular getting guests on and the little bits we do during the years, and also a few new shows. And it might be the time now to bring out the new show that we told people about before. Maybe we'll end on that. But what we want your help for this one. We want you to come on the show and talk to us. Put a question towards us, or have your speak on a topic that of your choosing, Newcastle related. But maybe we'll end on that, Richie, with that little promo video for that, and we may even start that next week. We'll see how it goes. But good night, everyone. We'll see you later.
Good night.
Take care.
The cube has a very basic form, capable to change. capable to change. The cube without a special. The cube. Finally, I succeed. The cube. Nowadays, it's close to the cube.
Do you remember the first time you saw
The cube.
Why do you think the cube is so popular?
The cube became popular.